Alrighty, so it is 10 o'clock, December 6th, and I want to thank those of you that are live for joining me today. If you can hear me, go ahead and raise your hand on it should be on the bottom of your Zoom controller if you're on the computer, or if you're on your phone, it's also going to be on the bottom. Oh, thank you so much for raising your hand. And can you also see me? I'll lower your hand, and then if you can see my video, go ahead and raise your hand again. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we've got video, we've got sound, and we are going to go ahead and move forward. So first of all, oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining me today. I just so appreciate you taking time and joining me, because this is a new phase of my life, and I'm so excited about it because I've made other dreams come true, so I know I can make this one come true. So in 2012, I was a high school teacher, and I decided to transition to the world of professional speaking. Now, I had been a high school teacher for 17 years at this time, and I just really felt the pull to transition, and so I did. And I, from the very beginning, set the goal to make $20,000 a month. Now, I did not even come close to that. In fact, the first year there was like 2 or 3 stages that I was on, but I was able to build that business to making $20,000 a month. Now, not consistently, but periodically I would make that much. Sometimes I would have more than that. But what happened was I got to share the stage with Sarah Palin and Candy Carson at the Ralston Arena. So I took an idea and I moved it from where I was to where I wanted to be. I had to become a different person, because the person in 2012 was not able to handle the responsibility of speaking from the stage on the Ralston Arena. It wouldn't happen. And so I had to change. I had to learn some development. I had to change who I was, how I thought, and how I acted, because my habits determine my destiny. So I had to change some habits. Now I've made another shift. Just recently, I learned that I can make very, very good money through doTERRA and a residual income. Now, I didn't know that. Now, I started using doTERRA in November of last year, so just over a year, actually October. So just over a year, I've been using the product doTERRA. And over the year, I've been bringing it more and more into my life and aligning myself with as much natural that I can. Now, am I all the way over here yet? No, I'm not, but I'm on the way there. And when I first started using the product, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The results that happened for me were phenomenal. Right off the bat, I felt more energy. So let me give you an example. They have a product that we term LLV. It's Lifelong Vitality Pack. It supplements. And the first time I took those, I was up for 48 hours, 2 days. You're going, whoa, I don't want that. But let me tell you what happened. I had become very efficient at running on the fuel that I was putting into my body. And then all of a sudden I put high octane fuel into my body, and I just went zoom. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And so I know that they are phenomenal. So because I've had results, not only that, but when I go to the gym, I don't hurt the next day. And I work out hard. And if I miss a month or two and I go back, I'm not sore. Then I can also go through the time and time that we've healed different problems. You know, I had folliculitis for a while. I healed it with Melaleuca. That's it. In fact, I went to the doctor and he gave me a pill. He said, hey, you've got folliculitis. Gave me some medicine. I said, okay, let's test this. I put his medicine on one side of my body, and on the other side of my body, I used Melaleuca. That was it. The Melaleuca took care of the problem much quicker, within a day. Actually, within 10 minutes, the itch was going away. But within a day, the red bumps and everything were gone as well. Whereas the other side that had the medicine on that my doctor gave me, it took 48 hours, and then I started using Melaleuca on both sides because I was like, I'm done with this. This is driving me crazy. We've healed ear infections. We've healed all kinds of things. So The reason I'm giving you the background of the physical side, the ailments, is because we're going to talk about the emotional side. And sometimes the emotional side is more elusive. And so I'm giving you the background of how the physical side has helped me, because I know absolutely that if it's helping me physically, it's going to help me mentally as well, because it says that's what it's going to do. And so first of all, I want to talk about, I'm going to share my screen with you. And so I got to pull this up right quick, just a minute while I pull it up. But this is a handout that I have that I would love to share with you. If you are interested, let me know. I'm going to shoot you a, I'm sorry, I can't look for this. I forgot to pull this part up, so hang on. There it is. There we go. Okay, so let me share my screen. And so I forgot what I was saying. I apologize. Can you see this essential emotions? If you can see that, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, so if doTERRA tells me that it can take care of me physically, then I know it's going to take care of me emotionally, because it says it will. It's integrity. When somebody says they'll do something and they do it, they have integrity. doTERRA has integrity, in my opinion, at the very, very highest level. Now, when I started speaking on more and more stages, I started getting approached for many, many opportunities, especially here in Utah, because I believe it's the MLM capital of the world. But people were approaching me all the time and saying, hey, sell this, get involved in this, you can do this, and opportunities abound everywhere. I was very, very careful. Most of them I was like, nope, didn't even look any further. Others I was intrigued, so I prayed about it, and the answer was no. When I got introduced to doTERRA, I didn't want to. I didn't want to at all. And the Lord kept, if you've had it, spend any time with me, you know that I talk about God pokes. And the Lord kept poking me. Jeannie, you need to do this. You need to do this. So I heard about it about 7 o'clock in the evening. And I kept getting very, very strong God pokes, had arguments, excuses, right? Had reasons, aka excuses, up the wazoo. And finally at 1:30, got up in the morning and ordered the Natural Solutions Kit. And that is what started my journey into doTERRA. And I didn't tell anybody else about it until January. And in January, I started going, wow, this stuff is amazing. Got my family on it first and foremost. Got my family on the Lifelong Vitality Pack. We started using oils, to heal different things. I have lavender rollerball right here on my desk, because sometimes I'll start getting a headache because I don't take proper breaks. And so all I do is I take it out, I roll it on my temples, I roll it right across my forehead, and within about 30 seconds, my headache's gone. So started using them totally for physical side. Then I learned about the emotional side of oils. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So if you want a copy of this, put your email in the chat, and I'll go ahead, or just your name. I should already have your email, but go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll make sure that you get a digital copy of this. There are 3 parts to our body and our mind and our spirit, and they all go together to form our wellness. Our wellness is made up of those 3 parts. We have our body, our spirit, and our mind, and we must nourish all of them. High quality supplements help nourish the body. I don't think anybody doesn't know that our food is not the same that it was for our grandparents. And so we have to take supplement. In my opinion, we have to take supplements now. Spirit, I connect to God every single day. Now you can connect to whoever you want, your higher power, whatever you call them, that's fine. As long as you believe in a higher power, you're going to find more peace and calm and serenity in your life. Now, your mind, this is the one we're going to be focusing on today. Now, you know that I help people tame the bully between their ears. I help people bully-proof themselves, which is mindset, is another word for that. The mind is so powerful because what we think becomes our reality. And so if you've spent any time with me at all, you know, and I have to give a shout out to James, because James knew me way back. He was one of my students when I was a high school teacher, and he said he'd be joining us today, either live or in the recording. So James, giving you a shout out. But I remember telling my students that there are 11 or 12 or 25, 300 realities going on. However many people are in the room, that's how many realities are going on, because I see everything through a filter of my beliefs. My mindset colors everything. My mindset colors everything. So if I have the belief that the world is horrible and out to get me, guess what? Every person I interact with is horrible and out to get me. But if I have the mindset that I love people and I love learning from people and everybody knows something that I need to know, then guess what? That's how I approach them. Your mindset is so important. So important. Now, when I was a health teacher, I taught my students how important and intelligent our cells are. Now, this is a copy of a body cell, and you have interstitial fluid and you have intrastitial fluid, and this is the cell membrane, and nutrients and information go in and out, hormones go in and out, and guess what? So do emotions. Emotions are chemicals in our body. And we have receptors on all of our cells for those emotions. Now, do you think that if I can create the habit of working out every day, or lifting a weight, or tying my shoe, or walking, that I can create an emotional habit? My friends, I'm here to tell you, you absolutely do. Are you in the habit of being motivated and excited? Or are you in the habit of being depressed? I don't know, no judgment, because you can't start a journey until you know where you're at. You can't get somewhere until you know where you're at. And so figure, where am I? Am I addicted to being grumpy? Am I addicted to being angry? I can list some people who are addicted to being angry. So just jot down a note. Then what I want you to do is think about, what do I want to be addicted to? Addiction doesn't mean bad. Now, there are definitely bad things that you can get addicted to, but it doesn't mean addiction is not always bad. Sometimes it's very good. Okay? So if I'm addicted to taking my supplements, if I'm addicted to eating healthy, if I'm addicted to being happy, those are good addictions. Now we're going to talk about the three brains. They didn't used to know this. This came out probably about 8 or 9 years ago. My timing may be off, so I apologize if it is. But you have the mind, which everybody knows about. And then you have the heart, which also has neural pathways in it. And then you also have the gut. And so all of these together make up your three brains. Just like you have mind, body, and spirit connecting your wellness, you have mind, body, and then your gut. We won't call that spirit, but we have your gut, right? And if I can get all of these working together, then I am well. Wellness is in 3 areas, not just one. If I have a life experience that is stressing me out and I'm not processing it very well, then I can have a negative reaction. And then I've got to take care of the weeds. This is the taming the bully, the part right here. The taming the bully part right there. Now I'm going to share a PowerPoint with you. I've got to pull it up right quick. So I'm going to stop sharing from this, and I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint here. And I want to share this because I'm going to go into, in depth, more about I got to share my screen. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Okay. So now I put Melissa Ramos and Philip on here because they are my upline, and I want you to be able to spell their names. So if you need to find them, please do. Melissa and Philip both are in our doTERRA groups, and they can help you. Melissa, phenomenal knowledge on how the oils help you physically. So if you're having a physical ailment or you're sick or whatever, Melissa's the person to reach out to. Now, if you decide to make this a business, Philip is the person you want to reach out to because he knows the business inside and out. And he's the one that helped me he's one of the ones, Laura Jacobs is the other, helped me realize that I can make a very good living with doTERRA. And so I have moved from calling corporations and schools and booking engagements that way to just doing doTERRA, just like this. Every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a training. So I'd love to have you join me again every Tuesday. And so let's talk a little bit about the brain. The neocortex is the biggest part. It's the processing part. It's our consciousness. It's what we think of when we talk about the brain. The limbic brain is more subconscious. It takes care of things that we're not even aware of. And then we also have the reptilian brain that is a part of that as well. And so we're going to go into more depth on these. This is the prefrontal cortex that you can see. If you can see this, go ahead and raise your hand. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. And so we've got the prefrontal cortex, and then inside of that, so here's our prefrontal cortex, and then inside of that we have our limbic brain, and then we have our reptilian brain. Now we're going to talk specifically about the limbic brain. Why? Because it's a part of our brain that we do not control. We have no control over our limbic brain. It will react no matter what. We just need to learn how to calm it down. So the main functions of the limbic brain are survival. I'm sure you've heard of this: freeze, flight, or fight. You may have just heard it called as fight or flight, but there's a freeze moment first, and then we go into fight or flight. Our body response is the exact same. Blood is shut off to the muscle, to the organs, and many times the brain, and it goes 100% to the muscles. So I'm ready to fight or I'm ready to run away, because I'm all about survival. That's what the limbic brain's about. It's also about avoiding pain. Ow, that hurts, don't do that. Or seeking pleasure. So for me, when I'm craving that sugar, that candy, that chocolate, whatever, I know I'm in my limbic brain because I'm seeking pleasure and I'm trying to avoid pain. And hey, let's face it, chocolate helps you avoid pain, right? Can I get an amen? Okay, so the problem is that people are in their limbic brain about 95% of the time, which means the prefrontal cortex is shut off. If I am in my limbic brain, my prefrontal cortex is offline. They cannot control the body at the same time. I'm either prefrontal cortex, where I'm thinking, processing, and taking care of things, or I'm limbic brain. I'm not both, unless I learn how to merge those two. Which, if you've read my first book, Bullyproofing You, the last part of that book, section 3, is all about learning how to manage your prefrontal cortex and your limbic brain. So great resource there. Now, let me explain a little bit about how the limbic brain works, okay? The limbic brain is for survival. Now, when we lived out in the wild, we were cavemen, however you want to, say wherever, and it still works today. I'm walking across the street, all of a sudden a horn honks at me. I'm immediately in limbic brain because I'm afraid I'm going to get run over. If I hear a baby crying, I'm in limbic brain. If I watch the news, I'm in limbic brain. If I walk in the house, and I smell good smells because my honey's cooking dinner and he's an awesome cook, I'm just saying, then I'm in limbic brain. So I'm constantly moving into limbic brain. And people think, well, wait a minute, I don't go into limbic brain. Yeah, you do, my friend. Let me show you how, okay? Can all of you see this thermostat that I'm drawing right here? Raise your hand if you can see this. Perfect. Thank you so much. Love it. Okay. So this is kind of how my son and I have started depicting the levels of our limbic brain. Now this, I don't know if you'll find this anywhere, but sometimes when I download information, it's because it's out there. So you may have thought of this, you may have heard this, but we've kind of done it like they do with the Amber Alert things or the high level sorry, gotta draw, can't think. Okay, so this is, we're gonna say this is my limbic brain. These are the levels of my limbic brain. Can you guys see what I just typed? Or is that blue hard to see? Raise your hand if you can read that, okay. Okay, perfect, awesome. Okay, so these are the levels, and all we've done is just kind of fashion them over, the fire. So Smokey the Bear, the fire alert today is green or yellow or orange or red. Now you'll notice that I have a couple green lines, a yellow line, and an orange line, and then multiple red lines. What we have done with this is we have called it levels. So I have like level 1 right here. We'll just say level 1 of red alert. Down here, I have level 1 of calmness. And if you've worked with me at all, you know I'll probably misspell at some time, and I appreciate, and it happens. And then I start moving out of calmness up towards more of, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. Okay, so an example of this would be, I'm sitting in my office and my daughter brings the mail in, and I look at it, because this actually happened yesterday, and I look at this piece of mail and I'm like, hold on, it's from Utah Community Credit Union. What is it? And so I move from level 1 of, things are awesome, to level 1 to level 2, which is slight, SLIGHT, stress. A little bit of stress, not a lot, but a little bit of stress. Okay, then I look at it, and now this is just saying, hey, we put more points in your account because you used your card from such and such a day. So then I'm like, oh, it's cool. Go back down here to level 1. Now, something else happens. Let's say, okay, so my youngest child is 21 years old, and I am at the doctor's office, or no, that's not a good example because I'd be up into orange. So I'm shopping in the grocery store like I was last night, and I am just doing my grocery shopping. Things are cool and awesome, and I hear a baby cry. I go into level 1 of stress. So even though my baby is 21, I hear a baby cry. It's a natural response. Oh, hang on. Are we okay? What's going on? Oh, yeah, we're good. It's okay. I come back down. Now, if I am not conscious and paying attention, I can stay at level 1 of stress. Just naturally, I have to bring myself back down. And then from there, if the baby continues to cry, let's say I'm out to dinner with my honey and we are hanging out, and we're all chill, we're down here, level 1 of calmness, because we're holding hands, we're loving on one another, and we're talking about the trip we're gonna go on. Things are cool. And then, oh, baby cries. Oh, what's going on? Okay, we go up here, and then the baby continues to cry. Baby continues. And we're like, stress builds. The stress level builds. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. And it can get more and more stressful. And I don't want it to get more and more stressful, because what happens then is I go into level, we're going to, instead of going 1, 2, we'll just call it level 1 of high stress. So level 1, high stress. So I have gone from calm to slightly stressed to okay, it's building. Now I'm into high stress. And you may be going, wait a minute, why? Why? Okay, so my husband and I are to dinner. Baby cries, continues to cry. And then somebody drops something in the kitchen. And then the people next to us start to have a fight. Can you see how this can start to build on it and get worse and worse and worse? Is this making sense? If this is making sense, raise your hand, give me a shout out, whatever. Yay, perfect. Thank you. So then you can see that it just continues to go up. Now, my son is suffering through some very, very difficult times. He is at stress level 20. That's what we were talking about with him the other day. I'm like, Max, you're at stress level 20. High levels of stress affect us in very, very detrimental ways. So you can, if you need a little bit of time, finish writing this down, give yourself an example, whatever. We are going to go on. I am going to erase this real soon, but let me save it. Okay. It is not letting my thing advance. Hold on. Got a moment. Let me see what's happening. Why can I not advance my slide? Maybe I need to erase. Okay, now can I advance my slide? No, now, enter. Oops, oh, hang on. Thank you for your patience. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to stop share for a minute and then go back into share so I can see if, oh, there it is. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, so I'm at wherever I'm at in the stress level. So we're just going to call it green, yellow, orange, and red so that we understand what's going on. Now, this is what is happening in our bodies all of the time. So these are our 5 typical senses. We have hearing, we have taste, we have touch, we have smell, and we have sight. Now, what you need to realize, go back. Something happened. Hang on, I'm not sharing. You guys can't see that screen, can you? Because I stopped share and then didn't go back to share. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you guys see this? Go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, good. Okay, so we have our senses. And people think of the 5 senses: hearing, smell, touch, taste. However, we have over 100 senses. And let me explain what I mean by that, because you're going, wait a minute, what? I don't know that. Okay, so we have our 5 senses: our taste, our smell, our sight, our hearing, our hands, our touch. But we also have, hey, what's the temperature? I'm hungry. Ow, that hurt. Or we also have, hang on, someone sent me a text. I want to make sure that I'm still able to, okay. I have someone monitoring us that will send me a text if something happens because sometimes I don't ask soon enough. So that's why my phone is on, allowing me to catch those texts. So I also know that, hey, I'm raising my hand, or my hand is down by my side. I'm looking over here. So not only do my eyes pick that up, but my neck muscles pick that up as well. I also know if it's humid or cold. So all of those things are senses, and they're coming in to the input in my brain at 11 million bits of information per minute. Every minute you have 11 million bits of information that are coming in just through your senses. Just through your senses. So when you go back to the limbic brain, it's constantly being triggered. It's constantly bringing you up in that levels if you are not consciously bringing it back down. Now you may be thinking, well, okay, but I feel okay. I feel fine. Yeah, you may feel fine until you don't sleep very well, or you're having a really hard time paying attention because you're not sure what, your kids come up and say, hey, Mom, I need this or that. And then they come back, Mom, why didn't you? We were supposed to leave, whatever. You're having a hard time paying attention to things. Here's the other thing. What do I pay attention to? So most of the information that is coming in is garbage. Just like I was saying, the baby crying, that isn't mine. That's garbage. The dog barking down the street. Now, if the dog's in my room and he's growling at me, then that's really important. That's not garbage, right? The pain in my foot because I twisted it stepping off a curb, that can dull, and it takes out information. So I don't always pay attention to those things. So does this make sense? You guys can list your own things in the chat there if you want, different garbage information. So most of the things are filtered out. So if I were to say anything, I would say this is filtered out, most of it. So if my attention, that's why multitasking is not multitasking, it's switching. So I'm switching from one task to another task to another task. Now, if you've personally mentored with me, you know that I say no switching. Switching is bad. It decreases productivity and it causes all kinds of problems. And we can go into that more later, but I want to stay on track here. I'm not splitting. You can't split your attention. I want you, here's an example. I want you to think about ice cream. Oh my gosh, I love ice cream. Now think about an apple. Can you think about an ice cream apple? Maybe, but you cannot think about two things at the same time. So you wind up switching your attention. And what happens is the filter in your mind says, okay, that's not pertinent information. This is called the reticular activating system. Now you may have heard of it. I call it the RAS, which do most people. The RAS is your reticular activating system. It filters out the information that it believes is not important to you. Have you ever bought a car and you're like, oh, I love this car. Nobody else has this car. And then you buy it and everybody has the car. Okay, not everybody, but a bunch of people. Because all of a sudden your RAS is, oh, this is important. I need to pay attention to this. Now, from here, from the attention part, the information that is important moves up into learning and memory. Learning and memory is all about long-term, short-term. Short-term memory is like, your, so I'm working on my computer and all of a sudden something happens and it shuts my computer down right now. Let's say, okay, this is a real example. I'm working on my book. You may know that I just finished my third book. Thank you, Lord, that I wrote 2 bestsellers first. I'm working on my book and I'm working on my laptop and I'm at Barnes & Noble because that was fun for me to do. I'd go do that and I'm working on it and I've got almost a chapter and let's say I've got 10 pages written and I didn't save it. And all of a sudden my battery dies. What happens to those 10 pages? Yep, they're gone. That's short-term memory. That's short-term memory. Short-term memory has to be saved at some point or it's lost. Make sense? Short-term memory can be lost. It's the things that we had breakfast yesterday or we had maybe that can be dumped if I'm not taking care of it. And we'll talk about that more in just a minute. Then long-term memory is what I have saved on the hard drive. So it's my RAM. So it's been saved on my hard drive, which is my brain. So long-term memory, short-term memory. Now you may be asking, why, Jeannie, is this important? Well, let me tell you why. Well, I'm sure you understand part of the reason why it's important. Let me fix that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so why is this important? This is why, right here, thinking skills. At night, when I sleep, is when all of my short term is deleted or moved into RAM, moved into storage. And if I'm not sleeping well, if I'm distracted with my limbic brain way offline, because I cannot process information if my limbic brain is active. Remember, my prefrontal cortex, all of my brain goes offline and I'm totally into survival mode or runaway mode, which is survival. I'm totally on survival mode. So if I'm in survival mode, my brain isn't working. So all of my short-term memory is dumped. It doesn't move forward. Now, I may remember how to tie my shoes, but I don't know what I ate for breakfast. I had a friend of mine who was in a very severe car accident and lost all of his short-term memory. He couldn't remember anything from the point of the accident forward because his brain couldn't process it and store it. So he had I think he was 17 when he was hurt. So he had a 17-year life. Maybe you've seen that movie, 50 First Dates. Her short-term memory every time she goes to sleep is lost. Okay, so it's very important to be able to process information. Now I want to show you oops, hang on. I don't know why I couldn't do this last time either. I couldn't exit out. Okay, hang on. Let me stop share again and then figure out why. There we go. Okay. Okay, I want to pull up a quick video for you. Wrong one, right here. So what happens is you can see, oh, hang on. I got to share it again, don't I? Thanks for your understanding, my beautiful people. Okay, can you see this video? If you can see this little video of a brain and there's red lights on it, raise your hand. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. Now, this is an article. If you want, you can see on top, you can see hopefully the URL there if you want to copy this. But it took me a while to find this video. This video was showed to me by my son's neurologist. And very, very powerful, because what is happening is our brains are actually being washed when we're sleeping. And he likened it, Dr. Snyder likened it to taking out the trash. So my brain, remember we talked about 11 million bits of sensory information coming in, and most of it's garbage. So at night, my brain has to wash all of that stuff out. And so as it's washing it out, then the next day, then it stores its short-term, flushes the ones it doesn't. If this process doesn't happen while I'm sleeping, I get more and more and more impaired. And if I'm in my limbic brain, if I watch the news and go to sleep because the news is all about danger, then my brain doesn't function properly. I have got to get good sleep. I've got to calm down my limbic brain, or bad things happen. Bad things happen. Now, I wish we had more time for me to go into that even deeper right now, but I don't, because I want to get to the part where I give you hope. I want to get to the part where you go, okay, Jeannie, well, what do I do about it? Where there's tons of things that you can do. One is write and burn, and we've talked about that some. Another is not in this training, but in other trainings. You can do a download, reload. Now, one thing that I use is oils. Lavender. Lavender is a phenomenal way to calm the limbic brain. So now I'm going to go back to the emotional support guide that I was showing you, and let me share my screen again. If you can see this emotional support guide, will you please raise your hand? Oh, good. Thank you so much. So, doTERRA is one of the only oils I will ever use because of their commitment to integrity and purity. It is so important that I only want to put the oils in my body. I don't want a bunch of fillers. I don't want a bunch of synthetics. I don't want a bunch of problems going into my body. I want pure things. doTERRA is pure. There's a third-party test that I can get to you if you're wanting to read more about the testing process that the oils go through. If you want to learn more about how the oils are extracted and diffused, I can also do that. And we'll do more trainings later. But right now, I want to talk about balance and grief and all of the things that you can use to help yourself deal with these emotions that are coming up, because it makes it easier. Now, there are 3 ways that you can get the oil into you. You can diffuse. Right now on my desk, I have a little diffuser. Now, I can't pick it up here and show you because I have my, oh, I can unplug it, but it won't be running because I'm unplugging it. This is my little diffuser, and it sits right here in my office, and it runs and it delivers the oil in a way, in an aromatic way that I can smell. It's the fastest way. Now, when I was in the Army, I had a very specific shampoo that I used, and every time I smell that shampoo, I go right back to basic training. I'm sure that you have examples of that as well. You smell something, boom, you're right back in that environment. That's because we have trillions of smell receptors, and they are directly connected to our brain. Remember the picture of the brain that I was showing you in the limbic system? Where did that sit? You're right up above the nose. Right up above the nose. Because we have so many smell receptors that it is directly attached to our limbic brain, because it's our first field of defense. Our first field of defense. So I'm getting a little bit stressed. I pull out my lavender. This picture shows a picture of balance. Love balance. Use it every single morning. And I can also smell it right out of the bottle. So if I don't have a diffuser, because Jeannie, I don't have a kit, that's okay. But I do have balance, or I do have lavender, or I do have this oil. Awesome. Open it up. They work better if you take the lids off. Now, this is a roller ball, and I can just put it in the palm of my hand, rub my hands together. Oh, that smells so good. And breathe it in. And what happens is that oil immediately hits my limbic brain, does its magic, and helps me start to come down from my high red level of stress down into orange, down into yellow, down into green. Now, if I can't smell it, even if I can't smell it, I have a friend who has absolutely no sense of smell. The oils still help her because they're chemically changing her body and her mind and her systems. So you don't have to smell it. You can also put it on. Remember I showed you I put it right here on my temples and across my forehead? You can take it topically. I also put balance on the bottom of my feet every day. Then you can also take it internally, where you put it in a little pill and you take it. Now, I'm going through menopause. So I'm using 5 oils every morning to regulate my menopause, because I didn't want to take chemical synthetics. And it is handling it beautifully, beautifully. And so I put the drops into a little veggie cap, and then I take it. I also take On Guard, which this is showing, every single day. Now I get the physical benefits and the emotional benefits. They come hand in hand. You have got to calm your limbic brain down so that you can think and process. Because if you're not able to think and process, you're not able to do things that you want. Have you ever got to the end of your day and gone, my goodness, I didn't get done anything that I wanted to get done? Why? Because you were so busy reacting to problems instead of thinking and processing. You were in limbic brain. Now, this is one of a depiction of one of my absolute favorite kits, and this is the emotional wellness kit, and it is something that I recommend for all of my clients. When I'm personally mentoring somebody, I always tell them, get this kit. Why? Because it helps you in so many ways. The first kit that I bought after the Natural Solutions kit was the emotional support kit. The first kit I bought for my daughter was the emotional support kit. If you can't get the kit, get some of these oils. When I first got the kit and opened it up, my body craved forgive. Why? Because I was so hard on myself. Oh, screwed up there, Jeannie. Oh, made a mistake there, Jeannie. So you have forgive, passion, cheer, motivate, peace, and console. You have 3 that have to do with calming the limbic brain down so you can bring on your prefrontal cortex. Then you have 3 that have to do with once your prefrontal cortex is online, let's motivate it. Let's get it going. I want it going this way. So that's what these oils are all about. Now, remember when I talked about the LLV at the beginning? It's because if the oils, they don't have any nutrition in them, they don't have any minerals in them, they don't have any amino acids in them, they are a chemical blend that comes from trees and roots and bushes and flowers. They are an oil. And so they're kind of like the foreman of a work site. Okay, I don't know if you've ever had your house built or whatever, but they're the foreman. They tell everything what to do. So let's say I need forgive because I haven't been forgiving myself and I haven't been processing information well, and I'm in red level limbic brain. I take some forgive, or I take some lavender and I smell it and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. It will go in and it will tell the body how to function. If I don't have any product on board, it cannot continue to work. It's kind of like the foreman walking into a warehouse. There's no building materials and no workers. And he starts trying to order people around, but there's nothing in there. Walks into the warehouse, he's like, hello. Nothing but silence. I've got to take my LLV, my Lifelong Vitality Pack, because that is packed with my minerals, my vitamins, my oils, all of my essential good stuff, so that then when the oil goes in, it has workers and building blocks that it can then send out to take care of things. Is this making sense? If it's making sense, will you raise your hand, please? Let me know that you're understanding. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now, this was the kit that I started with, the Natural Solutions kit. Now, you may be going, whoa, Jeannie, I don't have that kind of money. That's what I told the Lord too, and he made it happen. The next kit I bought was this one right here, the Emotional Aromatherapy kit. And then this is the one that I bought, so my husband has some on the truck. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about the benefits if you decide to buy an oil today. Or, and I know that some of you, I know Samantha, you do doTERRA already. So hopefully you've got some ideas. Hey, this is how I'm going to start using my lavender. This is how I'm going to start using my serenity. This, oh, I got to buy forgive, need that. Whatever it is, so that you can start utilizing those. And so what I want to look at now is, we're going to skip forward to the end of my slide here. And I want to talk about some of the things that you will get if you decide to either purchase the product from me today or not. Why? Because I told you I'm building my business. I'm also giving information because I absolutely love to teach, and I also want to help people. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you these different packages that you will receive if you decide to move forward with me today. If you are already on, you're like, Jeannie, yes, I know I want to do this. I've heard about oils before. Just type information in the chat or send me a text, whatever. We'll set up an appointment and we can talk a little bit more. Now, if you were at the live training, which we're having one December 14th, and you decided, hey, I want to buy this, I would absolutely just hand these to you and you would just move on. Now, since it's online, then all you have to pay for is the postage. If you decide, yep, I'm going to go with the silver package, Jeannie. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm just going to buy that Serenity. I'm going to buy Lavender. I'm going to buy Forgive. Awesome. I want to reward you for that. And for that, you're going to get a copy of my first best-selling book, Bullyproofing You. You get that. Just my way of saying thank you so much for jumping on board with us today and starting to use a tool that will help you bring down that limbic brain so you can think. Then I have my gold package, and with my gold package, you'll see you receive the silver package, and you also get an I Love My Life t-shirt. Now, some of you guys have seen these, some of you haven't. It says I love my life right across the front. I'll make sure and put in a picture next time or bring it. Just phenomenal t-shirts, and they're so cozy. Now you get that, you get the book and the t-shirt with a 100 PV order. Now you may be going, Jeannie, wait a minute, what's PV? PV is your point value that you get for the oils. Oils are dollar for point. So if I spend $1, I get 1 point. Now some of the other products there's a sliding scale, and I don't totally understand that. But let's just say that roughly you'd be spending right around $100. So for your purchase of roughly $100, you're going to get $50 worth of value, just my way of saying thank you. You get a copy of my book, and you get a copy of it, and you get that t-shirt. Not a copy, you get the t-shirt. Okay, they're cozy. They mean so much. Now, if you go with the platinum package, then you're going to get the book, the t-shirt, and a blend of Mama's Love. Now, this Mama's Love was made specifically for my team and my team alone, because when Max was young, he had some rough days at school, as we all do, right? And I would make him cinnamon toast in the morning. And he comes out this one morning, I'm like, Max, what do you want on your toast? And he said, I want love, Mama. Because one morning he was having a really rough day, and I'm like, Max, I'm going to put extra love on your toast. And so the cinnamon sugar I was putting on it, he started calling the cinnamon sugar love. And so this blend was specifically made for my team by my upline, Melissa Ramos, and it has cinnamon in it and all kinds of wonderful stuff. So you're also going to get that rollerball if you go with a platinum package. Now, if you choose the diamond package, you get all kinds of stuff that go with that. So you get the book, you get the t-shirt, you get the Mama's Love, and then you also get the Emotion and Essential Oils book. That has every single oil listed with the emotional support that they give you. So every morning I ask myself, okay, what do I need? And then the oil will pop in. I muscle test. The oil will pop into my mind, or I'll muscle test. And then I pull out my book and I read. Okay, what was it? What was it about that oil? And so valuable book, very valuable book. Then this month, doTERRA is giving you a bottle of frankincense, which is $68 worth of product. Every month, you make an order of 125 PV or more. 125, you get one product of the month. And at a 200 order PV, you get another one. And this month, it just happens to be frankincense. And so you get a $68 value of oil for free, just for making a 200 PV order. You also get a 2-hour mentoring call with me. Now that's a group mentoring call, but you get to ask questions, and we talk about the loop of success. We talk about the mindset. I know you've got goals. I also bet you're hitting up against a wall. I can help you get through that wall. Then you also get a 2-hour mentoring call with my mentor, Kirk Duncan, if you order a 200 PV. But you must order by December 15th to receive the frankincense, because doTERRA cuts off the product of the month at 200 PV at the 15th. So they want you to get your orders in earlier. Okay, so what package? Or you can do the Blue Diamond bonuses. The Blue Diamond bonus is asking that you do your first order of 125 PV, and then you set up an LRP. An LRP is a loyalty reward program. That's a monthly auto ship. And so what that means is I order my kit today with my LLV and my 5 oils, and then I set up a monthly order for my oils to come every month. That's all that is. So for the purchase of around $125, and then in January you would make another purchase of 100 PV, and then that oils are coming in and your product is coming in, your lifelong vitality pack, and you're seeing your life change. Just like I have, just like I've seen my life change, your life can change too. That's what I want to help you do. I want to help you change your life, and oils have impacted me so profoundly. Now, I know that we went through tons of information today. I know that it went very quick, and we are right now at 11 o'clock. I told you it would be an hour. And so please, you can either comment in the chat box or you can send me a text. But let's talk. Let's have a further conversation about oils and where you want to take them. And so I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I absolutely have loved our time together. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Either text me or put them in the chat. And I just want to say thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.